Hi everyone. So in Q, what I did is I have 2 pages now, so 2 charts, and I am looking at the daily chart, which has the fair value gap here. We got into the EQ, and then we had the inversion of the imbalance, and then we went higher. So I'm taking all the major fair value gaps. So here we have the daily fair value gap. So that is a target. If it comes back in, we long it right there or within this imbalance. But I'm going to use a 4-hourly, and I have this 4-hourly, this open 4-hourly, and this open 4-hourly. So I will look for long setups in these fair value gaps. I have these on my charts, and then I have the 1-hourly. So I shorted this morning. The reason why, because we had a 5-minute inversion here, as you can see, and that triggered my long with a target of the 1-hourly fair value gap. So right now my bias would still be bearish, because in this fair value gap we have no swing low. So if you had something like this here, and then we drop in, then you have the inversion here. That's the A+ setup. An inversion in an hourly fair value gap, you gotta take that one for equal highs up there. So that was very nice if you had it. So here I am on the 5-minute chart. I know that we are in this hourly, so it could still move higher. If I go to the 4-hour chart, again, we already tapped into it, but we never reached the EQ. So I'm looking for a drop here. That would mean that if it drops below this low, we can look for an inversion setup here. And then we target the -0.25 still, because I still have that target higher. Unless this one reverses, so it closes below, then we target this fair value gap. So then you have inversions all the way down. So it's pretty easy if you are trading with the trend. So now the trend is still higher or still bullish, but my bias would be a drop in here. So that's my bias. I don't know if it will happen. So that's why I shorted this morning. So now I'll go back on the 1-hourly, as I feel that we still will move lower. If we look at the Asian session, gotta use the kill zone. We have the Asia session, we have London session, and that's the manipulation. So my bet is that we take out London Asia low here. So even if we go a bit higher like this or like this, a drop down would be a trade for me. So what else can I see? I have the 15-minute fair value gap there. I'm just going to place 2 horizontals right there, the hourly, just to keep Keep that on my chart. And in here, I will try and look for a potential short. That's a clean fair value gap. If we do not have this one and it closes above, then you're looking for this low resistance liquidity. So that's here liquidity. So I'm gonna go to the top. So the major fair value gap now is this 15-minute fair value gap that we should be looking for. That can cause an inversion because we've hit the hourly. So that's good. We've hit the hourly. But it's missing a major swing low. So it's not an A+ setup if we inverse this. We do have this swing low here, but I would rather have something like this. That would have been better. And then the inversion, that would be a clean grab of liquidity. So my bias here is maybe we get on the 1-minute chart a rejection of this and then a move lower. If we do inverse this, we look for the highs again, equal highs, this one, and we try to look for setups, try to look for long setups in here to take out the liquidity here, okay? We still have 20 minutes till the market open. I do not open positions before market open because usually you will see something like this and then quickly up in the market open. It's like trading the news, so you don't want to trade the market open. I'm trading the MNQ. I just started a new account here with 50k. I'm up 100 on that one since this morning, so gotta take it as high as possible. Only trading NQ. And the reason also that we flipped this and my target was here because this is also liquidity. All these lows, so the same thing that we have right here, all those highs is actually liquidity. So if we flip that fair value gap, we can have a run again. Then I want to look at the news. Do we have any news today? February 12th. There's nothing that stands out unless, yes, we do have the PPI, but it already happened. Okay, no, sorry, that's the January. I'm wrong. 12 February. Okay, there's nothing major, but you can use this one, and we have to look here if we have some news. Nothing that really stands out. Within 10 minutes, we have a Fed speech that might cause some volatility, but yeah, I wouldn't look at it too much, okay? So now I go on to the 5-minute chart here, and I have my 15-minute fair value gap here. I'm just gonna call this 15-minute fair value gap, which is important if we inverse this. Even if we inverse this, my bet is that we take out the high here and then we look for a short again, or can we push through? We might push through. So then on the 1 minute, I will look for a potential long. So if we flip this, look for a potential long, and then we go like this. I do potentially like the setup because of the highs in here. But we already moved super high last week. So I do not expect it to move instantly towards 18,200, although we cannot rule that out. Okay, so we cannot rule out that this happens. Back to the 1 minute. This is very choppy. This is not something that you would like to trade. To me, nothing really stands out. You have a lot of imbalances here, which is not great price action. So we gotta wait for the 15 minutes, in my opinion, and then we look. So place that alert here. Now let's have a look at. Okay, so this one actually, I've painted this one on the chart. I'm not trading GBP or Forex with that account now, but I will trade it with my other account. And here you have a clean setup, meaning we have support of this liquidity level. But you do have to notice that we're in a weekly fair value gap, so that can always reject. We didn't tap it, but it can definitely reject back down. Here we are delivering from a fair value gap. You have the inversion, so that's what I'm looking for. Also on the lower time frame, this is A+. You have a major fair value gap here. Then you take out equal lows, and then you have the inversion. This is what I will only look for on NQ. And then you long till here, and here you have the same thing, the resistance or the liquidity that I've told you that we see on the NQ right now. So this is super good. This is A+. So now you don't really want to mess with it too much on the long side because we are in a weekly fair value gap. And we still have those big, or actually this one open, and I would like to long into this. So as you can see, we do have a market structure shift, a move into this, taking out this low could cause an inversion setup as well. This is A+ as well, so you gotta place that alert. Let's place it right here. So my bias right now would be to drop a little, and this would be A+. Although I said I was looking for a potential long, true, because we do still have this equal highs up top here. We are still bullish. The daily is still bullish. We can still perform a bullish in, although I'm not really keen on taking it, but on the 4 hourly we do have a major fair value gap. So you got to take that EQ up here. And then you have the low right there. You have a low here, you have a low here, so that's definitely good. And you would have a potential fair value gap forming here. Inverse this, and you're looking at those two highs to rebalance into this fair value gap here. And then you might want to look for a short, because here you have a major fair value gap, you have a liquidity level, and you have the same freaking setup that we can cause price to move down. All right, so wouldn't really go on the lower time frames with Forex. I'm not really keen on doing it anymore. But let's have a look at the DXY. That's a major level. All right, so we are, yeah, so I think that we are, if we move below this 1 hourly, I'm bearish for liquidity run here. So you got to look at the 1 hourly, which is 45 minutes left. If it closes like this, and actually we already closed like this, okay, so I think that we might have some kind of bullish movement at first on the open, and then I'm just going to perch towards the EQ here. So we've got to look for the shorts. That's my opinion. Although we do have the liquidity, but that's for later on. So I'm short bias. We'll see if I'm correct. If so, we go into the 1 minute chart and we look for the same setup while we open. So here we have the liquidity, equal highs. And what I want to look for is a run into this 15 minute. I don't know where the EQ or the 15 minute rejection, and then the short. And then we'll see how it happens, what happens. DXY, daily. I have a lot of things going on here, but clearly we are delivering from this daily fair value gap here, which means that I go on to the 4 hourly. We still have this one on the daily. So we go on to the 4 hourly. You can clearly see a fair value gap here. If this one inverses, we are looking for the highs. So that means that DXY would be bullish, which means that my bias for NQ to drop is actually the right one in my opinion. So if you short it, target is this and this one. And I don't know if I will get an entry because I think it's already very bearish. And I'm not in that short anymore, but it was the right call. It was definitely the right call. And I do really want an entry on this to short. already did one, but my stop loss and profit hits after my take profit one. So that's the disadvantage of the setup. The moment we close below, I shorted with a stop loss over here. So my first target was here and here, so I took that profit, half, and then my stop loss and profit was hit, but my bias was still correct. So I might want to try it a little bit different and see if I can place or turn my stop loss instead of in profits just above the last high. So that would be here. And if I enter right here, you take first profit here, it never went towards the first swing high. So I think I will try this in case that I miss a move, because right now I missed this move, although I was correct on the trade itself for the target as well. So let me try that. Back to DXY, I do think that this will just pop through. Why? Because we took out the low. So same thing, we have the inversion, we have the FEG here. I don't have to call this invert for short, but you call this FEG. And on the 2 hourly, or maybe on the 1 hourly, yeah, we have that inversion then. So here we have the inversion. It closed above. So then you long into the swing highs here, and now we are just going to punch through for higher. All right, but I'm having a call, so I need to take that one. One moment, please. But I will just let it by and we'll see. They will get me a voicemail. Where was I? So the reason why we close above makes me bearish, below makes me bearish. So you could say this is an inversion right here. I don't think that it will happen. I think, and if it happens, it will reject here for lower, but it might just reject right now. Let's have a look at, let me just hide this for a moment. So here you have another inversion into a fair value gap. It didn't really take out the swing high, so I wouldn't really short it, but I am bearish biased, and this would be an entry if it inverses towards the low here. I'm not going to take it because we have 9 minutes till the market open, but I'm potentially looking for a drop. So that would be a potential short. It's not A plus because we didn't take out the swing high and we're before the market open and we still have to inverse this. That would be better right here, in my opinion. So DXY most likely bullish, which means that Euro is bearish, which is clean as well. Went into the 4 hourly fair value gap. So now you're looking for the lows here and eventually equal lows there. And so still my analysis of last week was a move here and then back higher. So that's what I'm still looking for on the Euro chart. So if you're trading Euro, I would look at Euro GPY. For me, this is a very clean chart on the daily. What do we see here? It came into the fair value gap. It took out a swing low. And then here on the 4 hourly, we probably inversed a fair value gap. So what do we have pattern wise? Left shoulder, hit, right shoulder, bullish in pattern. So we are looking at a bullish into what you can see, a fair value gap on the daily. So you have a daily fair value gap. And we have the EQ of that fair value gap. I would like a tap into it and a move back higher. Would I long this inversion? Probably not. because we didn't actually rebalance into one of these fair value gaps. So I'm actually looking for a rebalance into this fair value gap. So my bet would be something like this, move in here, and then we long at the EQ or at golden pocket for a target of the -0.25. So this could be a very nice swing, or like medium term weekly trade. Of course, we get the daily time frame or the daily pattern, the bullish in. We have the fair value gaps that's open. We could have the inversion. So that's what I'm looking for. Really clean. I have my alert set on that one as well. So we have BTC here. Bitcoin, I was looking at the same thing. If you look onto the daily, we are very close. It will probably just breach for higher, and then you have an open fair value gap. Here we did tap into it, but very bullish. We have the EQ and then the monthly fair value gap, which will probably reject because we are above those equal highs then. So that's where you want to look for a short. On the daily, nothing stands out, but we do have a lot of fair value gaps open, and it would be nice for it to rebalance and then do something like this, but I'm not really sure if that will happen. On the 1 hourly, I said potentially long this, and actually it is currently working out. So this was your fair value gap, this was your low, so that's your liquidity, that's your fair value gap, and right now this is the inversion on the 1 hour. And I was in a long here, but then got stopped out right here. So you gotta place that stop loss just below the low, below the last low. You cannot do it differently. So I did that wrong. Place it just below the low if you think you have the setup, and you had the setup here. You have the inversion, and then you place the stop loss below the low. Target was this, and now you're just looking for higher potentially. So I do think that we could have a little run if we flip this fair value gap. It's a small one, it's not really decent, but you are delivering from a fair value gap. We took out the low. If this hourly closes like this, I would like to see if we run to this high. I'm not going to take it because it's too small, and you should have been in right here. Okay. So here, this, you see, it was an inversion, but it didn't work. Obviously, because we are 4 minutes away from market open, it could still work that we just dropped now, because your stop loss would be here. But we don't deliver from a swing high. So right now, though, we have a swing high, so we have the liquidity. Okay, so we have fair value gap. And we have equal highs there. So if you could make something like this, then drop, would be a potential short, but you have equal highs here, so it would be better if you breach those. And that's also a reason why not to short, because of those equal highs on top there. Yeah, so this is probably going to run. I shared that one. And I'm just using the same principles on every chart. Look for the 4 hourly and the 1 hourly fair value gaps, as well as the daily fair value gaps. And then if you're bullish bias, because we are close towards this liquidity level, you should long into this with the setup, swing low, inversion, and you just long it. So 3 minutes left, and then we will look what happens. So I am bearish, that's for sure, because we did inverse this, although we didn't took out a swing high. So it's not A+, because this would be better if this one went to this high, took out the high, and then eventually inverse this, then you may look at the lows. I don't like to long this as well, because we did flip, so I am kind of bearish. Just because we tapped into this fair value gap doesn't say that we will move higher. It's better if you have this, something like this. But then we do inverse this one, so I might think my bet is that we just drop here and then do something like that into this 1 hourly here. Yeah. And here you have the 4 hourly. So this would be better. A drop here and then a bounce, because you're taking out a swing low. If you have the inversion, then it might go higher. And then you don't know where it will go. It might go like this, might go like this, back down into this one here. But you can look for the setup. Okay. So this was my target of today on the London session. The 1 hourly, or the gap here, the 1 hourly fair value gap. Here we also closed. I'm trading the NQ. Let's delete all of this. And 2 seconds, here we are. We opened, I'm bearish right now. So could have made that short. Or if you're still in that short since this morning, you just gotta hold, because right now we are definitely going to this low, most likely to the low there, and it might just flip this one too. So I am very bearish. And I was correct this morning. My stop loss and profit did hit, but doesn't really matter. I'm just going to look for shorts until we hit the 4 hourly. So even on the 1 minute, I'm just going to look for shorts. I'm pretty certain. That's my bias. Trade with the bias. So I was definitely correct about that. So you see why we pushed to this low and this low, because we inversed this fair value gap here, the 1 hourly. Next target is here. And that is the EQ of the 4 hourly too, but I think it would just drop to the 4 hourly. And then we have the 1 hourly here, so I think then we drop to the 1 hourly, and this might be a potential long in here. And we have this one here. And we have a low in here, so it would be even better if we drop here. And then the long. Equal highs. potentially. This one is going to inverse. We took out equal highs now. Then we have the 15-minute fair value gap here. Okay, there's no position right now. Let me just delete that one. Going quickly. Liquidity here. Might push through. Anyways, I'm not in any position. We have the high here. 15-minute can still reject. Moving very quickly. What do I have? I have 1 minute fair value gap. We've taken out the high, but it's not really rebalancing into some kind of fair value gap here. Oh, we do have the 2 minute fair value gap here. Interesting. Might take a short if this one flips. With a stop loss above that one, of course. Yeah, we do have, this is kind of the setup. But all those highs here would be better if we push through, but I don't think we've been very bullish last week. I'm not sure if it will push through, so I've got to go to the 1 minute and might give it a try if we inverse this fair value gap here. We do have this small one, so we got to go to the 2 minute. And here you have the 2 minute fair value gap. Let me just close this. I'm looking for that one potentially, and then we have the low here as first target. Best case, I think yeah, we could still run higher as well, because to show you, we have this fair value gap here. And we took out a low. We took out a low in the fair value gap. So this is rather bullish, although we didn't really reach for that one. Yeah, bias is still, it's not the A+ setup. If this low was gone, then this was great for a long here on the 1 minute, this inversion, but you already took out equal highs, so it's not really good to long here as well. Just going to wait. If we push through, then I might look for longs into the -.25 on the 1 minute. Just the same setups like this, and you get it into the fair value gap here, inversion here, move higher. But what stands out to me right now is this 2 minute. This 2 minute fair value gap, and my bias for being short still. But yeah, we're holding the 1 hourly here, so I'm not sure. I might try it when we inverse. Still have equal height on top here too. I don't think that it's the best short if it inverses, because we are delivering from a 1 hourly. We did take out a new low. If you try, it would only be with a low position. going to be very careful with the trades this week. So if I do enter, we have a range of 23 pips, points. So I gotta think 220. So I gotta enter with thin contracts maybe, or even a bit less, because do like 6 contracts maybe. It's small, but you have 20 points, so 1 point is $2. So that would be enough to have a profit here. I'm using this one to calculate. So 1 point is $2. You got 20 points. Okay. So I do 10 points times 2 is $20 per point. It's 400 loss if I enter with 10. So I'm going to enter with 8. That would be the calculation behind it. And for NQ it's $20 per point. So if you short with 1 contract, you have the same 400 loss with a 20 point stop loss. It's not A+, so I am going to even take it like a 6 or so if I do it, because I don't. Gotta have this. I would say it's a B setup, C setup, given the move here. Okay, so this one will probably close. I'm just going to try this.
Order filled.
I could still be wrong. We have still 15 minutes left. So if it pops now back into this fair value gap, we have a little problem. So I'm not sure, okay? I have a low position instead of a bigger position because know when to go big. We do have the inversion. Let's see. It's not A+, it might fail. It might definitely fail. Because we are delivering from a 1 hour lead, that's the reason why it could fail. We're still rejecting that 15-minute potentially. It's really choppy. I don't really mind if it fails. It's just a trade is a trade. I'm in low profit, low position size. Still have equal highs. So I do have the reasons not to take that trade, because we are delivering from a 1 hourly. We are having the grab of liquidity here. So if it fails, it doesn't really matter. My loss wouldn't be that big. But you know my thought process behind it. And then we look for another short higher. It's still the open, so. The way it's looking right now, it's not really looking good. If it bounces like this, I guess it will be stopped out. But then I will just go a little bit bigger on an A+ setup. still have the highs here, so we could run to the highs here. And then I would rather look for higher again. Okay, this one is not looking great. Because we're delivering from the 1 hourly, we'll most likely hit that stop. Now if it closes above again, then it will run to the highs. So this is very important here, this level. But normally, you should see it going down more quickly on this one. I think it will just run. All this is liquidity as well, so we have lots of liquidity up top, so I think if it runs, it will take out the high here, and then I might look for a short again if there is a fair value gap in the left side here, where it rebalances into. Not really. You do have this one, but then it will probably shoot for the highs again. We will see, we will see. So I did forget to share it in Discord. Yeah, my entry is all the way down here, so let's keep it like this. And eventually target would be all the way down. Where to? Let's do it on this one. All the way down to this 4 hourly fair value gap, as you can see. That would be my target of this short. Let me delete this. I don't really need that one. I don't really need that one. I need this one as my liquidity level. 15-minute fair value gap, equal highs. Yeah, that's it. Okay. That is the one that I'm going to share. B plus setup. So first I will take half here. I know I won't really make too much. That's 12, 15 points. I would make around 70 for half. Stop loss and profit, then we could run it lower. Just like I said on Twitter, looking for a long here, also in Discord. I did enter a long, my stop loss was just really bad. It was right here. You should place your stop below. So sorry about that stop loss. I'm not in anymore. But it's the same setup. You deliver from a fair value gap, you take out the lows, you have the inversion, you push it higher. And that's on the 1 hourly, and we have liquidity above. So if you still have that high close by, you have a fair value gap, you've taken out the lows here, you just long. I'll be right back. I have to go to the toilet. So I will place limits of 3 at 18,006. Let's say 7. We are short, so you gotta place a limit 3 of buy there. Yeah, we'll see. Don't need to modify it. Pretty close. I would just wait. I will wait, and maybe if I can get it a bit lower, it would be nice if it drops real quick. And then I just mark itself for a bit more than my limit order here. So here on the 1 minute, you can also look for the same thing. Go to the 15 minutes, you look at the fair value gap. If it drops into the fair value gap, you look for a setup. Maybe on the 5 minute, small one here, maybe if it drops in here. And then take out this low here. That would be a potential trade, not sure. Okay. Be right back. Okay, so this is not really good. Because we took out this one. So I'm thinking about closing this for now. I'm just moving my stop like this. Move my stop loss because I don't really trust this too much right now. Sorry. If you have the inversion and then it takes out a new low like this and it pops higher, then it will most likely not work. Then you're most likely just looking for higher. Price action ain't too clean as well. Yeah, you see, you have the inversion and then it takes out a low. That makes it fill. So I guess my stop is being hit and I'm looking for higher here. Equal highs on top here. It's trying to reject this one, but I think it will just pop higher. You see how price action is trying to just move higher. It's not willing to reject it too much. It's just trying to push. Gotta look for a new setup here. Here you kind of have the setup and a fair value gap takes it out. Oh, here I'm getting stopped out. So looking for
Stop filled.
higher. Unless I replace that stop loss badly. Okay, so I might place that stop loss badly. But right now, I don't really think of re-entering, although it does seem very bearish now. It's a bit too choppy. So my stop loss was right here. I probably made the mistake not to leave it right there, but it's too choppy as well. I'm thinking what would be best right now. Can we still go lower? That's the question. You do have the 1 minute inversion here, but it didn't came from a fair value gap. And we still rejected this one though. If I enter right now, it would be a little bit of revenge. I would wait for now. I wouldn't re-enter. We made equal highs here too. Hmm. I think the setup is still valid. We rejected the fair value gap. Here we are below the 1 hourly. My stop loss was just really shitty. I don't really trust it, but I'm gonna give it a try again. Stop loss here. Maybe just 6 again. Oh, it's too choppy as well, I'm not sure. I do think it would just drop. Let's just do it.
Order filled.
I'm just using very low position size. I don't trust it too much, and I should have not changed that stop loss. It's really choppy, so I wouldn't really join that one. If that one doesn't work out, I will just wait for this region here for a new trade. Because I'm definitely not sure. No. Very choppy. I wouldn't enter or I wouldn't join any trades right now. Would wait for here. This would be a high probability better. And if we push higher, you just look for the setup into fair value gap here. If we reject, can look for a short back down here, but we're still delivering from the 1 hourly. Here you have a lot of liquidity build up. So I think it will just push through into the EQ of this wick maybe. Then push it down. So here in 2 minutes. Might add 4 if this one inverses. Because I've seen something like this and then just drop all the way down because they think that this is liquidity, that it needs to be tapped. Because people would see this as low resistance liquidity and then it would see it like this, but I think it could also trap longs and just push down. Still at 18k psychological as well, so quite some resistance. You have a small imbalance here. You had one here too, and that's where it actually rejected, as you can see. Came into this imbalance, rejected, came into this imbalance, rejected for now. We're still below the 1 hourly, so I'm still rather bearish. But yeah. Might add 4 just. It's still low in position size. So if we flip then that one, have taken a high out probably within a 30-second fair value gap. Let's add 4.
Order filled.
Still. So that's 20. Super tricky because right now it just took out a new one, new low. So you really don't want to inverse this one again. So now here you have low resistance liquidity. So this is definitely your TP1, because if this is low resistance liquidity, we take the high, we take the low here. You can definitely flip that one again for higher. So here you want to take half. TP2, TP3. So it's bouncing from the EQ of that hourly wick. It's pushing down, but still not 100% sure, still not A+. Kind of have equal highs too here now. Lots of liquidity. Bitcoin took out liquidity too, and if the hourly forms a fair value gap, if we are going higher, then it should most likely drop into it and then higher. Gotta give it some time. I'll be right back. for higher again. Will most likely push through. If it's going to push through, it will likely go like this. Yeah, now you have both sides. Lots of liquidity here, so it could push through, which I guess it might try for the high again here. Then again, could be pushing higher. This is definitely not bearish right now. Yep. From the 1 hourly again, after taking the low here and the fair value gap, it just continues higher. So now I'm looking for higher here and here. go.
Stop filled.
Stopped out. Wasn't really A plus as well, so gotta wait now. What it basically did, it just rebalanced into the 1 hourly and then it gave the setup, but it wasn't really too clean. So I thought it might drop, and we flipped this inversion, but the bulls are still in control. And yeah, like I said, this one worked out. The next target is .5. Okay, so my mic was off. So I've been stopped out again, looking for those highs now. And Bitcoin did work out at the FEG like I thought. It gave the clean setup. And Q ain't so clean. I don't know why I can't. Okay, so rebalancing the 1 hourly here was a bit tricky, but eventually closed back above the 1 hourly. It's tricky, so I'm not sure if it will rise to this one. I'm still overly not entirely bearish, but took out all the lows here, the highs, sorry. And going for a new all-time high. So here we have this one going lower and ES going higher. Push it through maybe first. And up again, pushing. There was also no long setup. And here, we have the 15-minute. Let's see how it reacts to this EQ for potentially higher. But yeah, you do have this low resistance liquidity. So I think this will purge. And then you look for the long here. Going down a little. Still tricky to short though. There's definitely no long in this, so we have a slowdown too. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to get an entry here.
Order filled.
Still tricky, but I trying to see if this one can inverse. Wouldn't really follow right now because it's not really a setup. And it's still really bullish, so I'm just trying to catch the top here. We took the high out. I'm only going to try it here. If it does go higher, then I will not try it anymore. But this, to me, if it can reject here, we have a setup on YM. So it just took out liquidity. And it's pushing through now. So if we can have a setup here, that would be nice, but it's just pushing and pushing higher, which means in Q is go higher. going higher. If this one can close below, then it would be bearish. But for now, it's still rather bullish, so we could expect higher as well for this one here. Likely getting higher. Just the same price action as last Friday. Continuation higher and higher and higher. No clean setup. Equal lows here though. Little IFEG here. Give you a short maybe. I'm already short, but it's I wouldn't short it. Maybe if this IFEG flips, then I short it, but for now, wait, I will just add 5 if it flips. Okay.
Order filled.
Let's see. Did it? Oh, it didn't actually. Okay, that wasn't too smart. Thought it would because it was only 3 seconds left. Not too good. You wait for the IFG here. Not A plus. I don't really like the reaction, but you do have equal lows here. Might just grab it first. Yeah, that reaction ain't too great. Would it take the high first? I'll move it a bit higher. So I wouldn't enter. That's not good enough. It just continues. This one as well, so it's just too tricky. Failed again. Yeah, it's not really shortable.
Stop filled.
So stopped out as well. Thought this one might reject, but it didn't. How high will it go? Well, it's close to that minus 0.25. Absolutely insane how this one is running. It's really unstoppable. Didn't really have an entry. Equal loads here, you might add the long inversion here, but then again, it didn't take out the low. It did close below this one, so it's not ideal. maybe. So could try, but it's slightly the last one that I tried. Last attempt. We do have equal lows. We have the -0.5. It's the last short that I will do, because you can keep trying to short this and you will probably not catch it up. We will see. Okay. Seems to be working now. Taking half. Awesome profit. Finally. So again, it was the 4-hour structure minus dot 5 that hit. So now we have the 1-hour FEG here, liquidity here. So that's your targets. For now, equal lows. Let's see if it doesn't hit stop in profit here. Place it here. Could place it here. If it enters but right now it does hit the fair value gap here and gets an inversion of that one, so leave it here. Took that low. Then this would be a setup for a long if this one flips towards the high here. I'm not really trying too long anymore. For now, I'll just watch it. We do have equal lows below. So if it starts in a sell model, then we are going for equal lows here. Also ES minus .65 from my weekly. Yep, from the weekly. You do have this last one here. That's why I'm out. Just trying again. And with the stop loss at the EQ here. Because I think it might just drop. And reject that 1 hourly. Doing some risky things, but you should be out in profit. I wouldn't recommend taking this. So here, you could still push and then down. helps here. Could say this. Trying to make back the losses. You can see that we did inverse this one, but at such a high point, and here we are just at the -65. YM fell short of the high here, but it's also bearish. Let's see if we can reach those equal lows here. Only thing that could still happen is that we push for a high here and then down. And yes, let's look at ES here on the weekly. And I think, no, I took it from here. So ES still, oh wait, it's this one that actually, oh, I guess it wasn't a monthly. Yep. Yeah, so on a monthly we did hit the -.65. It's a target. From the last low. for a part. Maybe ES can give me something. This one is still moving a bit higher. Let's see if we can hit it, and maybe I short the... Okay, so this one is out now. M is 1. Here, this would have been a setup if it took that high out. So the 15-minute bounced here. Here's the minus 65. That's a really major level on the monthly. That's your target for the bullish in from the last structure. So from here, body to the wick, golden pocket, bullish in, like an ABC, above liquidity. I think we should definitely look here for a rejection. You are at 5,000 psychological, 18,000 psychological. Okay, so equal highs now. If it's somewhere that it will stop, then it's here around this zone. You have another IFVG here. But you have equal highs on top though. So you could short it with TP1 here. It's not ideal because you have those equal highs. So I guess maybe wait for those to be taken. But anyways, yeah. It would have been better if it took it out, but it's set up like this. Maybe wait for it to be broken like this. And then maybe. You do take it. There you go. As you can see, it didn't take out the high, but it did work out. That's your target here, fair value gap. If possible, equal lows, not sure. Had a couple of trades here, the inversion here after it hit that -5, fair value gap here as resistance, and this fair value gap here, and this was your target, the low here. So now you should place that stop and profit, but let's see how far it can go. And here we are really close to that -65, but if this inverses, which is actually already did here, kind of, not really. I'm rather waiting for this, but let's see. I would be targeting this one here. Yeah, if you're in, that is the target. Equal low still. And maybe yes, is holding quite well. Why I'm doing nothing. There you go. Clean, very clean. If you took that one, congrats. Very clean. Okay, so these are the trades that we should be looking for. Very, very nice. If you're in that one, there you go. That's textbooks, but only thing is that we didn't really took out the highs here, so we have equal highs now. Yeah, but we're definitely selling off, so that was maybe a reason not to take the IFAG. So normally if it takes that one in a fair value gap, it's very good setup. But now you know that even if equal highs are created on the chart, but it still closes below your fair value gap, you can still short the inverse fair value gap here. Okay. And now, yeah, now it's just going probably towards those equal highs, equal lows. If you're in, your stop would be here. And now you have to take this one and look at it. Because here you have the EQ. This is where it can bounce again. But given this, the strength to the downside, you also have the liquidity level here. So that's also the reason why we are holding here. If it flips, and if this one flips as an IFEG, then we're definitely in a sell model. And you target the next one over here, and then you can look at 4 hourly. That's the daily, I guess. No, that's 1 hourly. These are 1 hourlies. So these are all targets. One here, definitely this one, because you have the 4 hour FEG as well. So if you're short, I would just hold it to this one, because that is the major. Yeah, if it hits that, and then the 4 hourly can close above, then we can create something here. But my bet is that we just go for a lower high then, and then we slowly, finally move down because the daily is just very extended. We have the imbalance here. We have the open fair value gap here. So that is definitely something to look at with the liquidity level. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm not going to turn fully bearish right now as we are at all-time highs, and it can keep continuing higher and higher and higher this year. So you got to look at the major fair value gaps, and that would be the daily here and the imbalance here. I don't really think that it will drop way lower than this, but for now still have the minus of 25 there. Keep an eye out on the EQ here. This one, 4 hourly. I would rather take a long again here. Something like that. That will probably take a while. For long, I would like it in here. Going to the 15-minute chart now to look. We did close below. See, so we hit that minus dot 5, minus 1.5. We inversed this one right now, and we are above liquidity. So we took out liquidity. Yes, we are bouncing now, so, but this is a major fair value gap, which we inversed, which to me really gives a short setup if this was a fair value gap here, but there isn't, so we are all-time high, so I'm not sure if this will work as an inversion. Yeah, but the reason that we're bouncing is this high. And yes, we do have equal highs here. I think they will hit, but maybe if we can come here. Then we are below equal lows, and that would be a good setup for a long inversion equal highs. As you can see, this one also creates an IFVG. Not ideal because we have many IFVGs open, and here we are entering the 15 minutes. And I would like to see how it reacts in here. So kind of bearish as well on that one. But not ideal because we have many gaps open. Right, but I'm gonna call it a day for now on stream, and I'll see what pops up in the afternoon. But for now, 2 good trades, 2 bad ones, I think it was. So yeah, I'm gonna continue looking at the charts, but going for dinner right now. Bye.